Team WUNAX Deck Profile Nazeer Robinson.
Yo, it's your boy Bird with the legend, the one and only, the Nas, who got second place at the TGG CASE tournament. How'd it go?
That was good. I lost once in the main draw, second round. I just bricked. But this deck is really fun. It's pure punk. It's very explosive. It doesn't brick very often, and then also it's a lot of one-card starters. The field spell is broken. I'll show you that later. But I played 49 for this event. Later,
49, it's kind of interesting.
it's weird. Normally I would just I'd play 50, but I forgot to play like the Foolish, and that would be. I'll talk about this later on why you play the Foolish. And then there's also another extra deck card that I swapped out for recently.
Okay.
I do punk cards first. Play 3 in the field spell. This is a Pot of Greed and an Extender by itself on turn 1.
It's a new card, right?
It's a new card. This card's disgusting. You play 3 of this. In the event it was only 2 field spell and terraforming, but now I just added 3. So this is essentially the third field spell. It's the same idea. 1 trap. The trap is with a punk on board. This is just an omni destruction card. It just pops anything on board while you have a punk on board.
Cool.
Then I'll start with the punk monsters. I play 1 the Shakuza, which is a fusion, and on your opponent's turn synchro. 1 Wong, which is adding the spell. You gotta have them also whenever a card on your field that's punk is targeted, you draw a card, so this is also a draw. Then you play the Widow Spider, the Madam Spider, which is a trap adder. If a punk card targets a monster on board, it halves their attack, which is really good. 2 Deer Note,
Standard.
3 Xiamen. I like this card. Also, the second effect comes important because you can chain link 3.
Chain 3.
Yeah, so if you have a punk on board and you send this to the grave, it can target a punk on board and it gains 600 attack. So this can be like, you can do Chaos Ruler, 1 Deer Note, 2 targets Yaman, then chain 3 Yaman target like a punk on board to chain block 3, which is really nice.
You hear that, boys? That's that sauce.
3 Ogre Dance is actually really good. It's sometimes better than the next card I'm going to show you because more often than not, if you have the field spell, you want to just add this and play around Ash, because they don't Ash this card, which is understandable because Foxy is just a bit better.
Yeah, they're always looking for that card.
Yeah, they're always looking for Foxy. But if you send this at Deer Node, you can just banish this with the field spell effect and summon the Deer Node directly into hand, which defeats the purpose of ashing the Foxy, which is the next card, Foxy Tomb, which is self-explanatory. So summons everything.
What do you think about people playing 2?
No, you gotta play 3. If you're playing it as an engine, I play 2. But if you're playing it in the pure version, this is still
mandatory.
The best card you can have in your hand with another card. Then I just go on with non-punk cards and hand traps. The honorary punk card, in my opinion, is Shinobi Necro. This card is really good. If it's banished by an effect, it summons itself. So you do this Chaos Ruler. So you do a Hal combo, summon this Chaos Ruler link. You either link it to Lambda, which I'll show you later, or you go into like a Baron, and then banish Chaos Ruler in a light by its effect in itself, special summon this, and then you go 10 again, which is really good.
Spicy.
Calamities. This is really good with the Calamities combo because this is the 2 that you had on board, including the onboard formula. Best card in the deck. Gizmo Karochi. I count it sort of like a hand trap too because you can do it on your opponent's turn. So at the end phase, you have in your hand, you just have a body on board and you play around Wenda essentially. So if you're playing against Wenda deck, summon this on their turn, which is fine, and the next turn normal summon like a Necro, go 10.
And then the advantage of banishing cards, right?
The advantage of banishing cards is just dumb. The other synchro I'm playing is just broken with this card. 3 Gamma Driver, Sailor, 3 Ash, 3 DD Crow, 2 Nib, 1 Ogre.
1 Ogre.
This is searchable.
Oh yeah, it is searchable.
This card is okay. It's good, but like bad at the same time because I don't want to see it as much. but I have like 4 different ways to get into it. So, you know, why play it at 3? We don't want to see it that much. Right. And then 3 impermanent.
Wow. It's amazing that the deck can just eat all these hand traps.
Yeah. The worst thing that can happen in terms of bricking, you just draw an entire hand of hand traps.
You just say no.
You just say no for a while until you draw like a Gizmek, because Gizmek plus hand trap is still like I wouldn't say pseudo combo, because you can just go, especially if you're less than life, you can just go Psychic End Punisher, because it's a 3 and an 8. So that's kind of free in my opinion. 2 desires.
2 desires. All T's.
3 E-Telly. I mean,
it's E-Telly. If you can play it at 3, you play it.
And then if they ash E-Telly, 3 tactics.
The spice.
So you're drawing a lot in this deck. Field spell is 2, this another 2, and this is another 2, 6 cards. And then the walk on is 1 if they do something crazy and target a monster on board. So, you know, I think this is set. I'll do side deck next, but this is more so an adjusted side deck for what I wanted to play and not to what I did play. I did play 2 twins. I also played P.U.N.K and 2 alpha. This card.
Alpha. What's your reasoning behind alpha?
It's an 8, and its effect to bounce is a cost.
Oh, I see.
So it bounces itself for cost. So you can get rid of a card that's not, and it doesn't target. It targets itself first. Bounce itself, and then you can bounce like a Borland, which is crazy. And then also, if you still control, if you still don't have the less attack points on your board, so you have less attack and they have more attack, you just summon it again. And the only stipulation is you just can't attack your opponent directly with this card.
Why does that matter though? You just clear a monster.
You just clear a monster and then
hurt them a little bit.
You hurt them even more. So there'll be times where I can just summon P.U.N.K and then summon this.
P.U.N.K is at 1.
P.U.N.K is at 1.
Yeah, tribute cost.
And what's crazy there, this is with a 3. This is a Baron or the other synchro I'll tell you about. And with this, it's a ruler or and Punisher or a amazing Punk Dragon. So, you know. Card's good, and then 3 Dark Ruler.
Dark Ruler.
Yep. So I played 3 of this in the event, and 3 of this originally, and then 1 of this.
Searchable.
It's searchable, but now I'm playing 2, 2, and 2, which kills the tier elements matchup. This deck doesn't have a bad matchup against tier. It actually has a very good matchup. This deck itself has a good matchup against everything because the amount of hand traps you play. But this
it's so versatile, right?
Yeah, it's so versatile. It just kind of does and adds everything you need for the most part. But this card is so good right now. If you just activate it, everything in your hand is fine. Ash activates, Gamma doesn't care. But the moment you activate this card against tier, they just kind of lose because everything is banished anyway.
And it's required for them to use that card as a fusion. So.
In my opinion, it's a better shifter. Yeah. Besides shifter being in hand, which is better. This is only for the turn, so I can stop them on their turn and then play on mine.
And then protect from Valor,
everything, which is crazy. Extra deck.
Yep.
I'll do it in like order. So this guy, of
Secret.
Course, 8 ruler, and then the best 8 I think in this deck, which I don't make ruler a lot. I'll talk about that first. This barely summons. Majority of the time I'm summoning this. So with this plus field spell, it's plus advantage. So you go synchro combo, your node target, engrave, or Xiamen target itself as a chain link. Then you pay 6, add ogre, and then you draw from field spell.
That's so much.
Or if you already have ogre, you still go ahead, and then you add like a punk that like Tricusa, and you want to keep going. You haven't used Deer Node effect, so you go him, field spell, banish, summon Tricusa, then fusion, then go into another and make this. So you have this plus this, and then you make Hulk combo with these 2. And I'll show you the inboard after that, but you draw 2, you search ogre, and then you mill 5, add a light hand trap.
That is some serious card advantage.
Yeah, it's 4 cards.
Yeah,
then the 10s, I play Baron, and then I play I want to say this is the best card in the extra deck.
What?
Ching.
Changing. Okay.
Ching plus Gizmek. during your opponent's turn. A lot of times it's just game because on resolution it still banishes. So you're banishing 10 cards during your opponent's turn, so 8 for the summon. So this gains another 800, and they lose 800. Then another 2 on your opponent's field and grave. So this game's
10 cards.
It's 10 cards.
So it's a 4,000
already. So and think about if I'm banishing cards already on my turn. There's probably 2 or 5, sometimes 8 if I already Gizmek. Because the best combo would be Gizmek already engraved, and you already have 8 banished. So you have this card's huge by the time it hits your opponent's board, and it's hard to clear it. It does also protect itself, so it vanishes for resolution. 2 of the amazing Punk Dragon.
That is some spice.
The reason why you play 2 because depending on your hand, this is part of the combo because you can use its second effect if you don't use the first, which you shouldn't, to summon opponents with grave. So you can just bring back Deer Note, and you have a 3 in hand, and just keep comboing from there. And then God card
and Punisher.
I have less life points the majority of the time, so this card is just viable. And also, it's a psychic, so you get field spell plus this. You can draw off a field spell after using its effect to pay 1,000. It is a psychic. The stipulation is psychic and pay life.
That is so broken, so broken and abusive.
So, I do exceeds and fusions. I do fusions first. One of that guy, the Rising card, it's an extender.
Mandatory.
It is. Zeus and
Ding
this
gears
guy,
too.
Yeah. So you make him, you clear a card that can't be targeted, and then you just make Zeus. So
that is busted.
It protects itself as well, so it's good.
Mm-hmm. It's a mini chain.
Yeah, it is. Essentially.
Yeah, but for your whole board, that's nuts.
Right. So then the 2s, I played Lambda. Yeah. And then for the 3, this is Celine, but now I put this in. Celine was, I never made Celine, which was frustrating. I'm glad that I put this in now when testing too. This was just better. And then you play Axis Go.
The Axis Go.
Yeah. So then I'll show you the board. The board that you want to get to, most of the time, this is halfway optional. It's not though. This and this. The board, and then you have the trap card set. Where is it? This. You also have so Dragon Drive also has a second effect, which is very important. And then a lot of times I'll have the field spell. This is I want to say the best board possible with Gizmek and Grave. It's I want to say it's really a 2-card combo, which sounds really crazy, but it's a 2-card combo. And if I usually end on this board, yes, more likely than not, I have the Gamma.
A Gamma, right, to answer anything.
But with this, you end on 4 cards in hand plus this board on your opponent's turn. So you have a pop, you have this, which is really good, and then you have this for the formula. You do make Chungus more likely than not, so I will go here, make the formula, draw another card.
So 5 cards.
Yeah, you have 5 cards. And then the extra slide, if you have the extender in hand, so the 3 card for 3 cards, you have the Q's on board. And I'll explain this too. The Shakuza usually is for if you already milled the Shinobi off the Chaos Ruler, and that's already engraved, which is fine. This is also a Synchro 9, no Synchro 11 on board. You pay 6, so you pay 6 Synchro, and then you draw.
Wow.
And then if this is engraved, which will likely be done off of that, if this is pop, and they respond to this, say they ogre this will just revive itself because of its own effect, and then you just add another psychic back to hand. So the deck just kind of keeps going.
It's so recursive.
It's very recursive. Lambda is self-explanatory, but that's kind of like the best board. But in terms of the more consistent boards, I want to say you get to here a lot with Shakuza. That's a consistent board. You do end on trap a lot. If you don't get trapped, that's fine. You have ogre, but already you have ogre off of this because you just search the ogre. You still eating on like 4 or 5 cards still. But that's pretty much the deck. It's very good. I enjoyed it. I might play for the regional. I don't know. I got some stuff that I'm cooking up, but you know, thank you.
Well, we appreciate your time and all the sweet sauce you got cooking up.
Shout out to the team.
Shout out to the team.
Shout out to my people, my family, my loved ones, Abby, my girl.
Happy birthday, by the way.
Appreciate it. I'm old.
Shout out to TGG Gaming and
shout out to TGG.
WUNAX Gaming, and we out.